And welcome back to G-Senjou no Maou. Okay, so I left it off on a pretty heavy cliffhanger, I guess, because if this text box shows up, we know that something important is about to happen at this point. So, let's go with this. Oh, sorry. Oh, my throat got all sticky all of a sudden. Tsubaki sat on the floor with knees bent, sighing out her feelings of tension and despair. Actually, this pic is quite interesting. Mother, father, Tsubaki. Her brother had been kidnapped for 2 days now, but to Tsubaki it had already felt like an eternity. She's taking time off of school by pretending to be sick. Even though lying hurts like a knife in her heart, she can't tell the school the truth.
Tsubaki, もう休んだらどうだ。丸2日寝てないだろう。
Tsubaki, go rest a bit. You haven't slept in 2 days. Her father spoke, a haggard expression adorning his features. But I hate it when this happens. If I would know how to prevent this.
私よりお母さんは大丈夫?
There's no need to worry about me. Is Mom okay? Her mother isn't feeling well. Isn't that your mother? When she heard of the kidnapping 2 nights ago, she fainted on the spot. 3 of her siblings are sleeping in another room. When they learned of Hiroaki's absence, they screamed and cried. Even though they've been told that Hiroaki is at their grandmother's house, the kids are shocked. They've probably noticed the gravity of the situation through the heavy atmosphere. This family used to be cheerful, always full of smiles. The mother, physically weak but good at cooking. Always arguing about this or that. The father, stubborn on the outside but fond of doting on his daughter. Why did this have to happen? The sighing won't stop. This misfortune is just cruel. Why did the kidnapper pick us? And why Hiroaki? What could be happening to him right now as I sit here? If I could, I would take his place. Even so, Tsubaki has already decided not to show weakness before either her family or the culprit. Right now, the ones in the most pain are her father, who had to give up his prized land, and her mother, who had the child that she carried for 9 months taken away.
来た.
Looks like it's time. The sound of cell phone mingled with Haru's low voice as it echoed around the narrow family room. What's the culprit trying to achieve calling Haru's phone? Tsubaki watched Haru. She brought the cell up to her ear in a calm fashion. Her expression was dignified. She was no longer the Yusami Haru Tsubaki had met at school. Her timid back bunched over like a willow branch. Hunched over like a willow branch.
Maou だな.
Is this Maou? Haru suddenly spoke. What does Maou mean? Not even an iota of humor accompanied Haru's absurd question. Tsubaki, on the other hand, was completely confused.
ご挨拶だな。何を企んでいる?
That's some greeting. What are you trying to accomplish? What are they talking about? Tsubaki's mind is immersed in chaos. This interaction makes it sound like Haru and the kidnapper know each other.
わかった。椿に変わる。
Got it. I'll get Tsubaki. Having her name suddenly called almost made Tsubaki jump out of her skin.
私
Me?
変われと言っている。以後その携帯は椿のものらしい。
He told me to give this to you. From now on, this cell will be in your care. Haru handed over the phone after finishing this sentence. Tsubaki gulped. She took the phone, still on the line. Her hands were shaking uncontrollably. She has to speak with the kidnapper once again. Closing her eyes, she pulled the phone up to her ear.
もしもし。椿です。
Hi, it's Tsubaki.
調子はどうだ？
How are you? The voice was different. This wasn't a robotic voice like before, but the unadulterated voice of a man.
何のつもりですか？
What do you mean? What do you want?
警察に連絡しないでいてくれてとても感謝している。椿とは紳士的な取引ができそうだ。
I'm very grateful that you haven't called the police. It looks like I'll be able to have a trusting business relationship with you, Tsubaki. It was a strange feeling. The kidnapper addressing her by her first name.
身代金は用意しました。次は何をすればいいんですか？
The ransom has been prepared. What are we supposed to do next?
いいぞ。私の言うことをきちんと守っていれば、弟は必ず返す。
Excellent. As long as you follow my instructions, your brother will be returned to you. Maou then gave her his next instructions.
まず、その携帯電話の充電が切れないよう注意しろ。電気屋かコンビニエンスストアなどで即席の充電器を用意しろ。ちゃんと型が合うものを購入するんだ。
First, make sure that this cell is charged at all times. Go to an electronics store and buy a charger. Make sure to match the models. Tsubaki quickly opened her diary and wrote down the directions.
セントラル街に大和屋という大きなデパートがあるのは知っているか？
There's a mall in Central Boulevard called Yamatoya. Do you know it? Facing a sudden question, Tsubaki sank into confusion.
わかると思います。
Well, I think so.
デパートの3階にカバンを売っている店がある。
On the third floor, there's a store that sells handbags.
はい。
Right.
明日の午前中、そこで一番安いアタッシュケースを買え。1万円もあれば買えるはずだ。
Tomorrow morning, go there and buy the cheapest briefcase available. 10,000 yen should be enough.
ケース。
Briefcase? She wrote furiously, not having even a second to question the kidnapper.
無事に購入できたら、50枚の株券を封筒に詰め、ケースの中に入れて私に連絡をしろ。電話番号は、今椿が手にしている携帯に入っている。
After you buy it, put the stock certificates in an envelope in the briefcase and contact me. My number should be in the phone that you're holding right now. After writing everything down thoroughly, Tsubaki finally got a chance to take a breath. Tsubaki thought to herself, why does he want me to do all these roundabout things? I didn't call the police, and I'll give him the ransom just like he wants. So please just return my brother. The thoughts in her heart slipped out.
お金払いますから。ちゃんと払いますから。ですから。
I really give you the money. I mean, I'll definitely give it to you. So... The kidnapper interrupted her.
弟はちゃんと返す。
I will definitely return your brother. Yes,
ただ私は取引に万全を期したいだけだ。明日になってお前がいきなり警察に連絡しないという保証があるのか？
Oh, sorry. I'm only hoping that the transaction will follow through without a hitch. Is there any proof that you won't call the police tomorrow?
しないです。
I won't! She instinctively yelled a response.
どうして信じてくれないんですか？
Why don't you believe me?
逆に聞きたいのだ。どうして信じることができるんだ？
Let me ask you this, rather. Why should I trust you?
しないものはしないからです。
If I said I'm not going to do it, then I won't. Laughter came from the other end of the line.
なあ、椿よ。
You know, Tsubaki. A voice almost like a whisper swirled around her ears.
お前は面白いな。
You really are something else.
何がですか？
What?
お前が無条件で他人を信じるのは勝手だが、それを私にも押し付けないでもらおうか。
It's your right to trust others unconditionally if you want to. But would you mind not forcing that on me?
言っている意味がよくわかりません。
I don't understand what you mean.
大したものだ。私はお前のような人間は好きだぞ。
You're an amazing girl. I love people like you. Tsubaki was speechless. Not a single word would come out. The culprit spoke again to the befuddled Tsubaki.
父親にするか決めかねていたが、やはり受け渡しには椿を指名するとしよう。
I was thinking of having your father do the exchange instead. But I've made up my mind. I want you to do it. The exchange. That means the role of bringing out the ransom tomorrow has fallen onto Tsubaki's shoulders.
では明日、お前に会えるのを楽しみにしている。
Well then, I'll see you tomorrow. I'm really looking forward to it. Just when she was about to tell him to wait, she was greeted with the steady tone of a dropped call. Moo, 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 moo. Extreme fatigue attacked her. Haru looked at Tsubaki's face with probing eyes.
大丈夫か？
Are you alright?
平気だよ、おはるちゃん。
I'm fine, Haru-chan.
犯人はなんて？
What did he say? Tsubaki flipped through her diary and repeated everything to Haru. Haru silently listened to Tsubaki's doddering explanation.
携帯の充電器はあるぞ。
Okay. I have a charger right here. Haru passed it over as she spoke.
この携帯電話はもともと犯人からもらったものなんだ。
This phone was given to me by the culprit in the first place.
ずっと持ってたの？
Have you always been carrying it?
私にとって唯一の証拠品だからな。いつかかってきてもいいように充電は絶やさないようにしておいた。そして魔王もそういった私の行動を読んでいた。
This is the only lead I have. I've kept it charged so that he can call me at any time. And apparently Maou predicted as much. Tsubaki tilted her head and asked a question.
魔王？
Maou?
そう、魔王だ。
Yes, Maou.
魔王っていう人が犯人なの？
This Maou person is the kidnapper?
あ、
Yeah. Haru nodded.
知り合いなの？
Do you know him? Haru hesitated for a moment at Tsubaki's question.
知り合いというわけではないが、 椿は声に聞き覚えがなかったか？
I can't say that I know him personally, but Tsubaki, don't you recognize his voice?
声？
Voice?
犯人の声だ。
The kidnapper's voice. Tsubaki reflected one more time. The kidnapper's baritone was full of allure, full of confidence.
いや、わかんないな。
No, I don't think so.
どこかで聞いたことがないか？
You haven't heard it somewhere else before.
そう言われても。
Grilling me on it won't. She rarely hears the voices of men. The only impressionable one belongs to Asai Kyosuke. When Kyosuke talks on the phone, he sometimes uses an oppressively cold tone, a tone which frightens her into a cold sweat. Almost unable to stop herself from saying Kyosuke's name, Tsubaki started to panic. Asai-kun can't be the kidnapper. A wave of embarrassment suddenly assailed her. If Kyosuke hadn't helped, her family might not even have the ransom right now. And he even talked to them about the land. Kyosuke might come off like a lazy playboy, but he's actually a gentle, reliable person. As if... As that thought sprang to Tsubaki's mind, it was accompanied by an image of Kyosuke's face, as he is passionately going off about classical music. A fire burned in her chest.
まあいい。ところで、明日は私も協力させてもらいたいんだが。
Forget it. By the way, I want to help out tomorrow. Tsubaki, trapped in a dream, was suddenly pulled back to reality.
犯人を捕まえる。
I'm going to catch the criminal. Haru stated her resolution. Tsubaki's father, who had been silent up until now, took that as a cue to speak.
捕まえるって
You are going to catch him? The man stood up with great effort.
それはお金を渡さないっていうことかい？
That means he won't get the money, right?
極力渡したくはありません。
I try to ensure that he doesn't. Hearing this, Tsubaki became flustered.
ダメだよ。ちゃんと渡さないとヒロアキが。
No! If we don't give him the money, Hiroaki will... The kidnapper promised. If they follow his orders, he'll release Hiroaki. Just as Tsubaki was going to question Haru, her father held out a hand to stop her.
椿、ちょっと落ち着きなさい。
Tsubaki, calm down. But... Haru lowered her head slightly.
驚かせてすまない、椿。
I scared you. Sorry, Tsubaki.
私こそ取り乱して。
No, it's my fault. I just got confused, and... Haru gave Tsubaki a reassuring smile.
宇佐美さんと言ったね。
Your name is Yusami-san, correct?
春でいいですよ、お父さん。
You can call me Haru, if you like, sir.
捕まえるって君がかい？
You say that you catch him all by yourself?
ええ。お金も、ヒロアキ君も帰ってくる。それが最高の形だと思っています。
Yes, I think the most desirable outcome is one where the money is retained, while Hiroaki is returned safely.
確かに犯人さえ捕まえれば全てうまくいくよ。けれど僕らは警察すら頼らないことに決めたんだ。
Of course, if we catch the culprit, everything will be solved. Still, we've already decided not to call the police.
犯人の言いなりになるということですね。
Are you implying that we should follow the kidnapper's instructions? Haru looked as though she disapproved of the thought. Haru looked as though she disapproved of the thought, okay?
確かに犯人は大した人物です。幼児を誘拐し紙を送りつけてくるという残虐性と身代金を株券で要求するという奇想天外な発想の持ち主です。
The criminal is not a person to be underestimated. He has the brutality to kidnap a child and send the family his hair, and the brains to come up with original ideas such as asking for the ransom in stocks. What is Haru trying to say? Tsubaki wasn't able to concern herself with the criminal personality. In her mind, simply the act of kidnapping alone made him nothing but an object of fear.
そうだよ。そんな凶悪な犯罪者をどうやって捕まえるというんだい？
Well, with such a ferocious opponent, how are you going to catch him? Tsubaki's father was white.
犯人がどれほど頭の回る人物だとしても、ただ一点、姿を現さなければならない瞬間があります。
No matter how smart he is, there's still a single moment where he will absolutely have to show himself.
それは？
And that moment is?
身代金ダッシュの時です。正体不明の犯人ですが、用意した株券を椿から受け取る時には、顔を見せざるを得ないはずです。
The moment he intends to retrieve the ransom. Even if no one knows of his true identity, he has to show up when he's taking the certificates from Tsubaki's hands. And that's where she's wrong. He can send one of his henchmen, one of his very, very lot of henchmen, to get the bag to him. Or try to get it from one henchman to another henchman to another henchman, and one of the henchmen bring the certificates back into the stock, convert it into money, and then give it just digitally to himself. So actually, he does not need to do anything of that. It's strange though that he did the kidnapping on his own and not use the henchman for that, but I think he did that to not involve anything important into it. Indeed, the criminal has even said that he wants to meet Tsubaki. Oh! I didn't thought about that. Touché. She may actually end up coming face to face with him. Tsubaki's father shook his head.
宇佐美さん、前に君が言った通り、身代金を渡せば弘明が帰ってくるという保証はどこにもないね。
Yusami-san, like you said before, even if we give him the ransom, we can't guarantee Hiroaki's safety.
私はむしろ身代金を渡したが最後、弘明君は戻らないとまで考えています。
Yes, in all honesty, I don't believe Hiroaki-kun will be coming back, even if the kidnapper receives the ransom.
なんで？約束が違うじゃない。
Why? That's not what he promised, is it? Tsubaki interrupted and Haru stared at her.
犯人にとって人質とはリスクの塊だからだ。解放した後、犯人の顔や声を覚えていて、監禁されていた場所を警察に話すかもしれない。
To a kidnapper, the hostage is a dangerous bomb, just waiting to explode. After the hostage is released, he might remember the kidnapper's voice and appearance, and might even be able to tell the police where he was imprisoned.
浅井君といい、宇佐美さんといい、椿の友達はただものじゃないな。
Adai-kun, Yusami-san, Tsubaki's friends are no ordinary people. Her father smiled weakly. A ferocious battle is raging in his chest. If the police aren't called and the criminal orders are followed, it would mean losing the land that he's protected up until now. This is the first time that Tsubaki has seen her father in so much pain.
正直どうしていいのかわからないんだ。 今すぐにでも受話器を掴んで警察を頼りたい気持ちもある。ただそれをやると確実にヒロアキは帰ってこないんじゃないかという恐怖も大きい。
To tell the truth, I'm completely lost. I want to grab the phone and call the police right now. But the moment I remember that this action might cause me to lose Hiroaki, I become paralyzed by terror.
お察しします。
I understand your feelings.
椿は宇佐美さんの意見には反対なんだな。
Tsubaki, are you against Yusami-san's idea? Facing her father's inquiry, Tsubaki hesitated on her reply. A feeling similar to guilt began to sprout within her. Rather than her friend Haru, she chose to follow the instructions of this cruel, faceless criminal.
はるちゃん。
Haru-chan? Haru averted her eyes.
私に人の家庭の事情に口を挟む権利なんてない。ずけずけと勝手なことばっかり言って本当にごめん。
I don't have the right to say anything about other people's family matters. Please excuse my input. I'm very sorry. Tsubaki felt pricks of pain probe her chest. The girl who calls herself a hero was only proposing to the others what she felt was the best course of action. Tsubaki wanted to at least take her feelings into consideration. After much agonizing and deliberation, Tsubaki finally spoke up.
お父さん、ごめん。やっぱり警察は怖いよ。だって私は犯人の声を直接聞いてきたもの。本当に怖い人だと思う。警察だけは絶対にダメだと思う。
I'm sorry, Dad. I'm really scared to call the police. I heard the kidnapper's voice, and I think he's a really scary person. I think that we definitely can't call the police. He nodded deeply.
でもはるちゃんの言うことも合っているように思う。犯人を捕まえたいとも思う。
Still, I think that what Haru-chan just said is logical. I want to catch the criminal.
椿。
だからはるちゃんには自由にしてほしいな。
So, Haru-chan, I won't stop you from doing whatever it is you want to do. Tsubaki's smile was answered with Haru's.
ありがとう。
Thank you.
魔王をやっつけるのが勇者様でしょ。
No problem. Isn't Madame Hido the only one who can defeat Maou? Her father also gave a satisfied smile.
明日は大丈夫か、椿。お前の身も心配だ。できるなら代わってやりたいが。
Are you going to be alright tomorrow, Tsubaki? I'm really worried about you. I'd swap with you if I could.
いいよお父さん。ありがとう。
It's fine, Dad. Thank you. Tsubaki's father relied on her. She realized recently that as the eldest child, she's always been the family's center.
よし、じゃあ子供たちを起こしておいで。ご
はい
飯にしよう。さあ、母さんも起きた起きた。
Alright then. Call in the kids and we'll eat.
自分も一緒させてもらえると食費が浮いて大変嬉しいのですが。
It would be a great help to my food expenses if you would allow me to join you.
もちろんだよ。みんなで食べよう。
Of course! We'll all eat together.
すいません、厚かましくて。
Sorry for the imprudent request. The night grew deeper. Even from within the dark, wintry abyss that had been thrust upon this family, a single flower finally bloomed. The morning chill seemed a touch colder than today. Alright, I've got a fully day ahead of me today too. Finishing up the preparations for the day, I walked to the door, only to have the cell in my chest pocket suddenly wing. Hello? It was Tsubaki.
朝早くごめんね。
I'm really sorry about calling this early. Ah, it's no problem. Has something happened?
今日身代金の受け渡しがあるの。
Well, I'm going to deliver the ransom today. Oh, I pretended to be surprised. That's a lot of pressure. Can you do it by yourself?
やるしかないよ。
Yeah, this is the only thing that I can do. I sensed a steeled resolution in Tsubaki's voice. I'm sorry that I can't be with you at a time like this.
浅井君にはたくさんお世話になってるよ。
You've already done enough, Adai-kun. Well, I still have work to do. I'll come right over after I'm finished. Yeah, after I'm finished.
ありがとう。待ってるね。
Thanks, I'll be waiting. I hung up and walked out the door. There he is again. Finally. I couldn't contain my amusement. A smile tugged at my lips. Let's enjoy this little game, shall we? Okay, it's getting pretty tense. The GM titled the whole truth. 9 o'clock in the morning. Haru's mind was as clear as the winter sky.
よーし椿、一丁我々の友情パワーを犯人に見せつけてやろうじゃないか。
Oh, this is so cute. Alrighty then, Tsubaki. This time, let's use our powers of friendship to apprehend the culprit.
はるちゃん、元気いいね。
You seem ready and raring to go, Haru-chan. Raring? What? Sorry. Raring.
お前こそちゃんと身代金持ったか？
Did you bring the ransom? Yep. Tsubaki was holding the certificates in an envelope, cradling it like a precious child. After waving to Tsubaki's parents, who had walked the pair to the door, the two of them left for Central Boulevard. Where did all these people come from? Even at noon on Central Boulevard, this monstrous crowd is out of the ordinary.
ねえ、はるちゃん。
Hey, Haru-chan.
なんだ？
What?
私たちって一緒に行動していいのかな？
Do you think it's okay for the two of us to go together? Tsubaki's stride was getting heavier by the second. Haru matched her footsteps, moving in tandem.
ダメだとは言われていない。
He didn't say that we can't. In fact, Haru was under the impression that Maou was practically inviting her to participate in this incident.
ただ、私は離れて行動した方がいいとも思う。
Still, I think it might be better if I keep my distance. Maou had likely anticipated Haru's involvement. If so, then instead of delivering the ransom with Tsubaki, it would be better to try to hide and pounce on Maou at the opportune moment. For example, the best chance of nabbing Maou might come when his attention focused on Tsubaki during the exchange.
どうするの？
What should we do? Tsubaki asked. She must still be worried about going alone.
大丈夫だ。そばにいる。
It'll be fine. I'm going to be right by your side.
そう？
Really?
ただし、少し距離を置いて、椿を遠目に見守るような形を取らせてもらう。
Yeah, only I'll keep a reasonable distance and watch over you from afar. Tsubaki tilted her head dubiously.
じゃあ、 これから私たちはお互いに連絡を取り合えないの？
Wait, does that mean we can't contact each other after this?
そうなる。
It's right.
そっか。
I see. Haru put her hand on Tsubaki's shoulder.
窮地に陥っているようなら、颯爽と助けに行く。
If it ever looks like you're going to be in any trouble, I'll dash out and save you immediately. That one sentence made Tsubaki relax, if only a little bit. A hint of crimson flashed across her face, and she nodded.
最後に、一つだけ聞いておく。
Let me say one last thing.
何でも言って。
Sure, what?
私は極力犯人を捕まえようとする。だが、万が一取り逃がしてしまった場合、身代金だけは奪われないように動くつもりだ。
I'll try with all my might to catch the kidnapper. However, if he evades me, I intend to focus on keeping the ransom.
そうなの？
Really? Tsubaki frowned again, apprehensive once more. Tsubaki must still want to follow the instructions of the kidnapper and give him the ransom.
いいか、椿。たとえ犯人に逃げられても、身代金さえ手元にあれば、もう一度交渉のチャンスはつかめる、と思う。
Listen closely, Tsubaki. Even if the criminal escapes, as long as we still have the ransom, there's a chance there will be another exchange. I think Maou will try to contact the family again in an attempt to get the ransom. And after that, a second battle will ensue. Not emerge or burst? This should be true, but a foreboding feeling wiggled about in Haru's gut. One can claim that Haru's speculations are appropriate, but they make the critical assumption that Mao's goal is to get the ransom. To the best of her knowledge, though, this crime wasn't committed by a person who needs money. Just how much is 50 million yen in shares to Maou? Still, Haru remains stubbornly convinced that Maou is just trying to provoke her. In Maou's eyes, it might be less of a challenge and more of a game. Whatever the case, if Maou intends to defeat Haru, she would simply have to beat him to the punch. Of course, there's a chance that Maou might kill Hiroaki-kun out of retaliation when he realizes his defeat. Haru couldn't tear his unsettling thought from her mind.
はるちゃん、昨日も言ったけど、はるちゃんのいいようにして。
Haru-chan, I'll say what I said yesterday. Do what you want to do.
ありがとう。そう言ってくれると思っていた。
Thank you. I thought you'd say that. Tsubaki stuck out her tongue.
はるちゃんって不思議な人だね。
You are a really mysterious person, Haru-chan.
なんだ急に。
What's that supposed to mean?
ドヨーンとしたり、キリッとしたり、一体どれが本当のはるちゃんなの？
You sorta seem like dead weight sometimes, but you're full of vigor at other times. Which one is the real you?
そう。
Oh, who knows? To be looked into by another gave Haru a tingling feeling.
はるちゃんって転校多かったんじゃない？
Haru-chan, do you change schools often?
まあ、
I guess.
そっか、大変だったね。
Really? That must be exhausting. As kind as she was, Tsubaki must have realized that Haru probably didn't have many friends.
おい、椿。私はよく気持ちが悪いと言われる。
Hey, Tsubaki. Other people tend to call me disgusting. Her words seeming to come out of nowhere shocked Tsubaki wide-eyed.
気持ちが悪かったら、縁を切ってもらって構わないんだぞ。
If you think I'm disgusting too, you don't have to be friends with me, you know? Haru thought of the past. The past where she perpetually hid her loneliness behind a lone wolf attitude and a cynical facade. However, Tsubaki's response was firm.
悲しいこと言わないで。
Don't say such sad things! Surprised, Haru looked at Tsubaki.
お友達だよ、はるちゃんは。
You're my friend, Haru-chan! Just why would such a pure girl existed in real life? Well, technically, she doesn't exist in real life. This is a visual novel, a made-up story, but sorry for breaking the immersion here. But I really hope there are people like her out there. I really hope. Tsubaki's gaze was firm, charismatic even. Haru decided in the back of her mind to do everything in her power for Tsubaki, no matter what happened. She couldn't understand the reason behind it, and Haru's confusion showed on her face.
最後に一つだけ聞きたい。
There's one last question I have to ask you.
さっきも最後にって言ってなかったっけ？
What? I thought the last thing was the last.
これが本当に最後だ。そしてかなり重要なことだ。
This one really is the last, and it's an extremely important question.
うん。
Alright. Haru fixed her gaze on Tsubaki.
椿は浅井さんのことが好きなのか？
Tsubaki, do you like Azai-san? Oh, I didn't even need it to do that, but... Tsubaki obviously hadn't expected that as she blushed red. This is all the answer she need.
どうなんだ？
Do you really have to ask after seeing her obvious reaction of blushing? But, well... Oh. Oh shit, sorry, I didn't want to do that. God damn it. How did I even... Sorry, wait a minute. Okay, we're back. And what I actually wanted to do was doing this, to see the picture of her. I don't know, I just want sometimes to appreciate really the art of this. Expected that as she blushed red.
どうなんだ？
Well, do you?
えっと、
It's...
どうなんだと聞いているんだ。
I'm asking you whether you like him or not.
好きだよ。もちろん、あんなに頼りになる人いないよ。
Yeah, I like him. Of course I like him. You can't find anyone as reliable as him.
ふーん。
ふーんって。
What do you mean? So her first impression was correct. Haru's emotions grew complicated. On the contrary, Tsubaki's mind seemed to have already cleared up.
何にしても、ありがとう、はるちゃん。
No matter what, thank you, Haru-chan, Tsubaki said.
ひろあきが帰ってきたら、いっぱいお話ししようね。
We should talk more after Hiroaki comes back. There's so much to talk about. Haru nodded. This time it was Tsubaki's words that helped Haru relax. After all, she had just gained an excellent friend. Whoa, now we are hitting fire here! White of the Valkyrie. Wait, I want to see this again! What was the... whatever. It was already 11:10. Tsubaki glanced at the clock on Central Boulevard to double-check the time. After parting with Haru, she had been on her own, following the kidnapper's instructions by herself. Almost right after the mall opened, she walked in. Per the criminal's demands, she spent 6,000 yen on a cheap attach case. The ransom worth virtually everything the entire family owns was already in that briefcase. Tsubaki dialed on the cell phone Haru gave her. It was strong in both battery life and signal.
もしもし
Hello? The call connected quickly. The kidnapper's captivating voice circled around her ear.
優等生だな椿は
You must be a model student, Tsubaki. Pardon?
急いでケースを用意したデパートの開店は11時だからな
You prepared that briefcase in record time. The mall only opened at 11. She had no idea what he was talking about. She had no choice but to rush with her brother's life on the line.
今後も迅速な行動を期待する
I hope that you can be this quick from here on out. Tsubaki could only give a faint response. I have to repeat again, by the way, the background music and the sounds are in the things lower than the voices, so it's not my fault that the voices are so hard to hear right now. Well, not particularly. I could change it, but that would just interrupt more than this would. Tsubaki could only give a faint response.
今はセントラル街だな
Are you on Central Boulevard right now?
はい
Yes.
そのまま歩いてオフィス街に来てもらおう山王物産の本社ビルが見える広い公園があるのはわかる
Head to Central Business. Do you know that big park with a nice view of Sanoo Corporation's headquarters?
公園のどこに行けばいいんでしょうか
Where am I supposed to be? Inside the park?
園内には大きな掲示板があるそのそばで落ち合おう
There's a big billboard. You can't miss it. Stand beside it. We'll meet there.
わかりました
I understand.
急げ
Hurry. The call was suddenly disconnected. Tsubaki stopped and looked around, searching for Haru. However, sweeping her gaze through the bustling sea of people, she could spot that attention-grabbing hair. She should be following me right now. Tsubaki gripped her briefcase, cutting through the chaotic streets. 30 minutes at the very most. 20 minutes should be enough time to reach the park from the department store on foot, even for a girl. Even though I told Tsubaki that we would meet, I have no intentions of fulfilling that promise. I need to confirm one thing before I take the ransom. Whether or not the delivery person is truly obedient to the kidnapper. In other words, I need to determine whether or not she has a sense of responsibility and the stamina required for a successful exchange. And most importantly, whether or not she's contacted the police. So, 30 minutes. My gaze followed the minute hand on my watch. I believe that if she's still not here within 30 minutes, then without a doubt the police will be coming with her. If Tsubaki's family has ignored my warnings and called the police, there might be over 100 officers watching Tsubaki deliver the ransom. In order to capture me, countless police officers would have already begun setting an inescapable net at the park. However, no matter how quickly the task force responds, doing so would still take a considerable amount of time. After all, the police would have to move everyone from Central Boulevard to this park. They wouldn't allow Tsubaki to proceed until they finished organizing their members. That's why I'm being so sensitive to time. If I don't spot Tsubaki within 30 minutes, I have no choice but to cancel the exchange. Visibility in the park is excellent. If there are undercover cops about, I might be able to spot them. However, I don't have the confidence to say that I could do so with absolute certainty. For instance, if you were to ask me who stands out the most, there are two middle-aged couples, a man walking a dog, a man who looks like he's on his way to the office, and an old man helping a pregnant woman. There are simply too many suspects. Thus, the least I should do is remember the face of everyone here. That way, if a person with a familiar face shows up as I order Tsubaki around, I can determine with high confidence that the person is with the police. I sat on a bench, scanning the area, searching for signs of law enforcement. I saw Tsubaki. She was sprinting to the billboard with all her strength. A girl wearing casual clothes and carrying an attached case is very conspicuous. If a person with an overacting imagination saw Tsubaki right now, they might think that she looks like she's running to deliver a ransom. I checked the time. It's been less than 15 minutes since the last contact. Well then, it's about time to issue the next order. However, I need to act under the assumption that there are already undercover police searching the park. If that is indeed the case, then I definitely can't call her immediately. The moment Tsubaki picks up, they'll be searching the park frantically for anyone talking on a phone. Before leaving, I took a second to look at Tsubaki in the distance. Even from afar, I could see she was nervous. She waited for almost an hour. Tsubaki was nearly suffocating from the anxiety. Even though she came to the appointed place, not a single person who seemed like the kidnapper has shown up. The only people who have come to talk to her are flirtatious young men, not knowing anything about the situation. Her cell phone suddenly rang. The kidnapper is calling.
はい、ちゃんといますよ。
Yes, I'm here! She yelled into the phone. The kidnapper groaned. In discontent.
少し騒がしいぞ、椿。
You are too loud, Tsubaki.
大声を出すな。
Don't yell. Everyone around you will think you are suspicious.
ただでさえアタッシュケースを手に持った格好というのはお前のような少女には不釣り合いなのだからな。
Don't yell. Everyone around you will think you're suspicious now, won't they? Running around the city with an attached case doesn't exactly match the image of a normal girl like yourself.
すみません。
Sorry. The kidnapper's instructions are what made her stand out so badly, but she kept this thought to herself out of fear.
それでこのケースはどうすればいいんでしょうか。
So, what should I do with the briefcase?
大事に持っておけ。
Keep a good grip on it. Huh?
予定変更だ。受け渡し場所を変更する。
Change of plan. Let's change the exchange point. Tsubaki was lost. She searched for Haru without thinking, but she couldn't even find the thread of her being.
セントラル街の駅に行け。改札の近くにロッカールームがある。使用禁止の紙が貼られたコインロッカーを探す。
Go to the station on Central Boulevard. There's a row of lockers near the entrance. Go and find the coin locker that's labeled out of order.
待ってください。今書き留めます。
Wait a second, please. I'm writing this down. Lodging the cell between her head and shoulder, she used her free hands to open her diary.
ロッカーの中に身代金の詰まったケースを入れて鍵をしろ。
Put the briefcase with the certificates inside into the locker. Wrong voice, but sorry.
使用禁止じゃないんですか？
Isn't it broken?
安心しろ。実はちゃんと使える。
Trust me, there's no problem with it at all. The warning was probably prepared by him beforehand. Tsubaki waited for her next instructions.
ロッカーの鍵をしっかりとかけたら次にその鍵を持って電車に乗れ。行き先は終点の桜扇町だ。
After you lock it, take the key and get on the train to Sakuraogi City. That's where you'll be going next.
桜扇町。
That's the final That's the final stop of the line, in the next prefecture. From Central Boulevard, the trip will take 2 hours. Just what is he planning to have me do calling me out that far?
向こうの駅に着いたら改札を出たあたりで待て。
When you get there, walk out of the train station, stand there and wait.
また連絡をもらえるんですか？
Are you going to contact me again?
いいよ。お前から連絡してこい。急げよ。
No, you'll phone me. Hurry.
わかりました。次こそ会えるんですよね。
I understand. We'll meet up there, right?
椿がいい子にしていたらな。
If you are a good girl, Tsubaki. He used a frivolous tone. He's probably just messing with her. Tsubaki's unreleased emotions are whizzing and crashing inside her chest, waiting to explode at the lightest touch.
あなたの言うことは守ります。だから絶対に弟を返してください。
I follow everything that you say, so please, return my brother to me. Flames of anger began to swell within the girl. Yet even with Tsubaki in this state, the kidnapper spoke to her in a mocking tone.
返さなかったらどうする？
And what will you do if I don't?
許さない。
I won't forgive you! She herself was surprised at the strength and harshness in her words. An unbearable silence followed. Terror attacked her. She may have angered the kidnapper. An inappropriate provocation may bring disaster upon her Hiroaki. If that truly happened, how could she possibly endure the knowledge that she was responsible? The criminal spoke quietly.
決めた。
I've made a decision.
私がお前を人間にしてやる。
I will mold you into a human. His words only confused her. Just as she was about to ask, the connection was cut. Into a human? Does that have some kind of philosophical meaning? She's never been good at understanding hidden meanings. And besides, it's natural for her not to understand the ideas of an evildoer, of a man who kidnapped a child. She collected her feelings and walked to the station. As she was waiting for the light to change, someone spoke out to her.
椿、そのまま聞け。
Tsubaki, don't move. Listen to me. Tsubaki had no idea when she had appeared, but Haru was standing by her side. She spoke to Tsubaki, keeping her eyes straight ahead rather than looking at her.
お前は犯人の指示をメモに取っているな。
Did you record all of his instructions?
日記に。
Yeah, it's all in the diary.
じゃあそのページだけ破って歩きながらそれとなく捨ててくれ。
Then, rip that page out and quietly throw it away as you walk.
わかったよ。
I understand. The light turned green. People began to search forward. Once she got to the other end of the crosswalk, Tsubaki looked back behind her. Haru was already nowhere to be seen. Even now, Tsubaki had a sense of resistance to littering. But when she realized Haru would pick it up immediately, she felt a little better about it. 2 hours and 10 minutes have passed. If one hurried, they should have been able to get from the park to Sakuraogi City in 2 hours. If it takes Tsubaki any longer, there's again the possibility of police involvement. If, of course, I, of course, am still on Central Boulevard. After finishing all my preparations, I sat in the back seat of the car and gazed at the scenery outside. The populace ignored the cruelty of the winter's cold, and the street grew even livelier. A panicked voice came through from the other end of the line.
もしもし。
Hello? Are you there?
はい。どこに行けばいいんですか？
Yes, where am I supposed to go next? I hope you didn't lose the key.
ちゃんと持ってます。どうすればいいんですか？
I have it! What should I do next? I gave her the instruction decided upon a long time ago. Come back. Pardon? Ignoring Tsubaki, who was in an utterly morbid state, I continued. Come back and retrieve the briefcase from the locker.
どうしてですか？
But why? There's no reason for me to explain.
だって何のためにこんな遠くまで。
But why did you have me come this far? To get the ransom, of course.
ひょっとしてまだ警察のことを疑っているんですか？
Are you still suspicious of the police? Who knows?
だったらこんなことは無駄です。本当に警察には連絡してないんですから。
If that's how it is, then this is just a waste of time. I really didn't contact the police. It's clear from her voice that she would like nothing better than to just give me the ransom right this second. There's no police involvement?
はい、絶対です。
No, definitely not. There's a reason she had to go from Tomanbetsu to Sakuraogi City. Police take their respective jurisdictions seriously. If Tsubaki was being backed by the police, then this kidnapping investigation would have to be transferred to the other prefecture. Thus, the arrangement of personnel would be put into disorder once more. Such an event would considerably hinder police mobilization in this prefecture. Of course, there's a chance that the police departments have made contact previously and are working together. However, police are people who are very conscious of territory, if not quite at Yakuza level. According to my judgment, the police of Tomabetsu and Sakuraogi City won't rally together just for a kidnapping incident. Still, it's a good thing I didn't send her to Tokyo. That was my original plan. I never would have guessed that this prefecture and the Tokyo Police Department kept an unexpectedly good relationship. I only found this out a short while ago. That was dangerous. Fine, I will believe you. Tsubaki's actions are swift, without hesitation. At the very least, she shouldn't have had time to be in close contact with the police. Next time, I promise. Next time, I will retrieve the ransom. I was finally confident that I had done enough to preclude the police's involvement and continue on with this battle.
ケースをロッカーから出した後、どこに持っていけばいいんですか？
So, after I pick up the briefcase, where should I go? Take the subway to the residential area in the southern district.
はい。
Okay. I'm going to give you the address you need to go to. Tsubaki confirmed the address after I told her the details. A white car will be parked there. Its door will be unlocked. Take the ransom and sit in the back seat. Oh god. Oh god, this is a very bad, this is a badness.
それでどうするんですか？
What should I do after that? Wait for me to arrive. What? Are you uneasy? Does the thought of being in a cramped car alone with me frighten you? I laughed coldly.
何を考えているんですか？
What are you planning? I was hoping to go for a ride. Oh, please don't be that kind of ride. This would be highly inappropriate. I'm really looking forward to it. I hung up and commanded the driver to go. After another 2 hours or so, Tsubaki stepped back onto Central Boulevard. The sun sets early in winter. It was already evening by the time she arrived at the southern district.
おい、椿。
Hey, Tsubaki! It was Haru. She had suddenly appeared behind Tsubaki, calling her name. Haru spoke abruptly.
お前が桜扇町に行っている間、私はケースの入ったロッカーをずっと見張っていた。ロッカーを開けようとした不審な人物はいなかった。
When you left for Sakuraogi City, I kept watch on the locker. No one approached the locker or tried to open it.
そうなんだ。
I see. She didn't go with me to Sakuraogi City.
椿を追うか、ロッカーを見張るか。迷ったが後者を選択した。なぜなら、誘拐犯が鍵を手に入れたとしても、身代金が欲しければ、必ずロッカーを開けなければならないから。
I didn't know whether to follow you or look after the locker. After thinking a bit, I picked the latter. Basically, even if he got the key, he still had to come to the locker if he wanted the ransom. Or just a big thug with an iron bar just goes on it and cranks it open. Come on. I mean, the lockers in Japan can't be that stable, can they? Haru's explanation was more than enough to wipe away the anxiety in Tsubaki's heart.
もう少し人手があればよかった。
If only there were more people to help us. Haru said these words with a hint of loneliness. The moment she finished, she once again disappeared into the sea of people. Tsubaki felt an ache in her heart. Maybe Haru doesn't even have a single friend that she can rely on. Without thinking, she murmured, I don't even need other icon. She's asking for other icon. If Kyosuke were with me, I'm certain I'd have all the courage I needed. Tsubaki savagely whipped her weak heart for that sentiment. Wishing for unobtainable things won't bring her brother back to her. Her grip on the briefcase tightened as she headed toward the southern district. She had no idea why she called out Kyosuke's name. Tsubaki has pretty much never been there before, and the southern district is, as a whole, a very quiet residential area. The setting sun has dyed the newly built western houses, and the metal fences surrounding them a bloody red. Is this bloody red? Tsubaki checked the address again as she searched for her destination.
あった。
Found it! She saw the car. It was your everyday white sedan, whatever that means. Tsubaki didn't know what the kidnapper's car would be like. Thankfully, there was only one white car at the designated place. Sit in the back seat. Her heartbeat grew violent. She had never dreamed she'd be going on a ride with the kidnapper. He might even hold her captive. Nevertheless, in the end, she still wanted her brother to be released. And for Hiroaki, sacrificing herself would be an easy price to pay. Tsubaki walked closer to the car, trembling as she rounded the bumper. Hesitantly, she forced herself to peer through the window. There was no one inside. She decisively reached for the door handle. Tsubaki slid into the back seat. She put the briefcase containing the ransom on her knee, letting a deep breath flow from her lips to calm herself. Silence reigned. The car was almost completely devoid of sound. Small beads of sweat soaked through her palm. The only noise that reached her ears was her own heartbeat. The silence only made her wait more torturous. She was being tortured by anxiety. And you know what I'm doing now? I'm going to be a dick for the first time. I'm gonna leave this episode right here, because I think we're getting to a climatic ending of this. And I have the feeling that even the chapter will end in the very first few minutes of the next episode, but even so, I want to end it here. I hope you enjoyed it so far, the excitement and the thrill, and I hope I do a good job in reading all those lines and pronunciate and change my voices now and then. I really hope you like that style so far, but if you are at this deep in the playlist anyway, I think you like it. I would pretty much assume you like it at this point for the very reasons that you are still here. So thank you. Thank you for being here with me on this little visual novel, which is actually not little but quite big, I guess. I don't even know. It's not as big as kind of a shoujo yet, but it seems to be. So anyway, enough of this babbling. I'm ending the episode here. I'm really thankful for you who are watching right now being here with me. And yeah, if you want to show me some of your appreciation, the like button would help me a lot with it, to pinpoint if you like something or if you don't like something. And especially in the beginning of someone who does YouTube, and I still consider me at the very beginning, this would show me how much you really like something or how much you dislike something. So yeah, I hope I will see you in the next one. Stay tuned.